Hey everyone, welcome back to Inform Mommies. Today I'm going to walk you through our bedtime routine and how it has changed over the past year as Elle has gone from a newborn to a toddler. Now, Elle did not really have a bedtime routine for the first couple of months. Being so young meant that she was eating and sleeping on demand. So I would feed her when she was hungry and she would sleep when she was tired. Once she reached about 3 months old, I started a bedtime routine with her. It was a simple one. At 6:30, I would put her in her pajamas. At 6:45, I would read her bedtime stories. The same 3 books every single day. Silly Lullaby by Sandra Boynton, Grandma Wishes by Julia Lobo, and Goodnight Moon by Margaret Wise Brown. Then at 7 p.m. I would bring her upstairs for one last diaper change, put her in her sleep sack, and lay her down in the bassinet. Around this age is when she started putting herself to bed. I would lay down in my bed next to her, pretending to sleep, but then sneak out once I was sure she was asleep. This was our routine for months, unchanging, until she moved to her crib in her own room. The only thing that changed about it at that point was that I was no longer pretending to sleep in the bed, since there was no bed. I would sit in the glider and pretty much ignore her. I found that if I was giving her any kind of attention, she would continue to do something that would catch my attention. And if I pretended that I wasn't paying any attention to her, she'd get bored and go to sleep. She became so used to our bedtime routine that she began to tell me when it was time to get ready. She would be fine and happy and playing until about 6:30, when she'd get fussy and ask for me to brush her teeth. At first I used a finger brush for when she only had 2 little teeth, but when she got more teeth, I switched to a soft bristled toddler brush. One night, I forgot to read her stories, and she refused to go to sleep. She was whining and fussing and moving around in the bassinet until I realized I never read the stories. I had Daddy bring them up, and lo and behold, as soon as we were done reading it, she went straight to bed. It was a good thing she was so used to our schedule, but it was also kind of a bad thing, because anytime that we had to break it, like when we were at my sister-in-law's wedding, she couldn't really cope. She didn't know what to do. She refused to go to sleep, and she wouldn't sleep well. And anytime that I tried to switch out one of our 3 books for a different bedtime story, she would also fuss and cry until we had read all 3 of the original books, even if that meant that instead of reading 3 books, we were now reading 4 or 5. Out of nowhere, early in December, when she was about 11 months old, she stopped going to bed on her own. She wouldn't put herself to sleep. She would stand up and scream until we picked her up. She wouldn't sleep through the night anymore either. I changed the bedtime routine slightly, waiting until just before 7 to bring her upstairs, get her changed, put her in a sleep sack, and read the bedtime stories, figuring that it would be more soothing rather than all the back and forth up and down and the playtime in between. It didn't help. Nothing we tried seemed to help much. For a while, we fought with her each and every night trying to get her back onto her routine, but eventually we all became frustrated, lost our patience, and gave up. For all of January and most of February, we kind of gave up on bedtime. I would still brush her teeth at 6:30, then bring her upstairs at 7 for a diaper change, pajamas, and sleep sack, but then I would bring her back downstairs. We would turn off all the lights in the living room, and we would put something that she would find boring on TV, with the volume very, very low, and hope that she went to sleep. Once she fell asleep, usually after being passed back and forth between me and Daddy about 4 or 5 times, and sometimes after drinking an entire 7-ounce cup of water, Daddy would bring her upstairs and, fingers crossed, she would be fine. However, she was still waking up multiple times through most nights, and sometimes it would take her up to an hour or more to get her back to sleep. I started bathing her after dinner instead of before, and I started using Johnson & Johnson's Sleepy Time bath set, which is bath wash, shampoo, and lotion. We are starting to get back into a routine now, and here's what it looks like. I currently bathe her 3 times a week, but we'll be doing daily baths once our bath seat comes in. The infant tub is just a little cumbersome to use every single day. After using the Sleepy Time bath wash and shampoo, I put the lotion on her and then put on PJs. On the nights that I haven't been bathing her, I do try to get some lotion on her chest at least before I put her pajamas on. I bring her back downstairs and we start to wind down. Maybe she'll sit on one of our laps, or maybe she'll play quietly with a toy for a little while. I brush her teeth, and then I bring her back upstairs around 7 p.m. I do one last diaper change, put her in her sleep sack, rub some Vapor Frida baby rub on her chest to help with the congestion that she's been experiencing recently. I give her some water, and we read our 3 books. After that, I turn off the light, and I turn on the white noise machine. And then I rock her and I gently hum Stay Awake from Mary Poppins.
Stay awake.
Over and over and over until she falls asleep. Once I'm sure she's asleep, I slowly ease off of the humming and I slowly ease off of the rocking until I can stand up and put her in her crib. If she's fine and stays asleep, I'll just walk out and hopefully she'll stay asleep. But if she picks up her head or rolls around or fidgets too much, what I've been doing is I'll drop to the floor and sit on my knees with my head down and my hands in my lap. I don't know what it is about this position, but every single time I've done so, she puts her head back down within minutes and is asleep. Then once I'm sure she's asleep and my legs are fully numb, I very quietly and very slowly crawl my way out of her room before shutting the door. At the time of filming this, we've only done this for 4 nights. And all 4 nights, she went to sleep fine right away with no problems. But only 2 of those nights she slept through the night. The other 2 nights were rough, with multiple wake-ups, soaked through diapers, diaper changes, and pajama changes, needing more water, and then ending up in our bed. It's odd because it's been an every other night type of thing, and I'm wondering if it's because she's teething still, or if she's struggling to be on her own, or if it has something to do with the fact that the 2 nights that she slept through the night were nights that she had a full bath. So we'll have to see what's going to happen in the future. I'm hopeful that it will continue to work and that before long we're going to get back on a regular schedule. Just a quick little update. I tested my theory last night of giving Elle a bath to see if it would help her sleep through the night, and it did not. So it must have just been a coincidence that the other 2 nights that she slept through the night were also bath nights, because last night, let me tell you, was rough. So that is our routine for bedtime and how it's changed over the past year. What's your bedtime routine like? Let me know in the comments below, and remember to subscribe for more content. See you in the next video. Bye!